And I've been thinking about monitoring spirits, right? Like we would like to think that they don't exist, like they don't affect us. Until, matter of fact, you'll be thinking like, that happens to other people, doesn't happen to me until you can identify it. Like, for example, one day I was sitting in front of my house. I just came back from somewhere. I was decompressing in my car, looking through my phone, and my neighbor walks up to my window, knocks on the window. Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen you for a while. This and that. I'm like, hey, how are you? You looking good. Looks like you look different. You lost weight. You got a haircut, shaved your beard. What's going on? He's like, oh, yeah. He starts telling me about, this and that. And I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. He just feel like he want to talk. That happens to me a lot. People walk up to me and want to talk to me. I said, okay. I ain't got no friends and no family that are really, really close. But strangers and random people do love to talk to me. So I'm like, okay. I'm just vibing with the guy for a minute, all right? Being a nice neighbor. Then he's like, oh, yeah, I bought a house. And I look at the house. He shows me pictures. I said, oh, that's so nice. Good for you. Yeah, I'm tired of this neighborhood. Blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, that's cool. That's good. I'm happy for you. Then he looks at me. So how much you pay to live over here? I said, oh, it was a setup. They do this little trick where they give you information about themselves, which may or may not be true. So they can then collect information from you. For what purpose, I don't know. But this guy went even further. So he went from trying to ask me personal stuff that's none of his business to trying to ask me about the property owner's business. And I was like, say it ain't so. I'm not really the target here, am I? He's like, oh, so did they come by to do an inspection on the house? And I was like, sir, I don't own this house. Why would I know that? Well, I was just wondering if you saw as they came and did they check for lead? Did they do this? Did they do that? I was like, you need to talk to the owner. Because it's none of my business. You see how people try to set you up to get information about your life and even other people's lives? And I think he's doing it because the owner of my house is a black man, right? And the neighbor is a white man. And he's always monitoring this black man's property, trying to see what's going on, who's living there, if it's been inspected, if the trash is this way, if this is that way. And I'm just like, I'm not helping. Just leave me out of it. You know what I'm saying? And then, some people are real bold with it. Like one time I was sitting at an appointment with my daughter, right? She was in physical therapy, and they're doing their exercises and stuff, and it's a room full of people having therapy, a room full of patients working with a room full of practitioners, so everybody can see and hear what's going on. It's a group. It's not like a one-on-one individual thing. So my daughter's physical therapist says to me, oh, so what do you do for work? And I was like, I don't work. I thought that would end the conversation, but no. She said, oh, well, what did you do when you did work? I was like, is she serious? So I explained to her that I was a registered nurse, and I thought she would let it go there. She was like, oh, so where did you work when you were a registered nurse? And I was like, ma'am. So I wasn't really sure where we were going with this. I said, let it play out for a minute. So I told her where I used to work, and she's like, oh. Then she said, and what does your husband do? And I was like, my husband? First of all, I'm not the patient He's not the patient. The child is the patient, and you are interviewing me? Why? Why you need to know what we do? Why? I don't know. What? Why? So I didn't say that to her, but I said, all right, I'm going to flip it. See how, mind you, we're in public, we're talking in a lot. I'm the only black person. She's asking me a bunch of personal questions, and everyone in the room is listening because they all want to know, because they're all nosy. And so she said, so what does your husband do? And I was like, what does your husband do? And then she was like, oh, I don't have a husband. I have a wife. I said, well, okay. In my mind, I was like, that was not the path that I thought we were going to go down, but okay. What does your wife do then? And she's like, oh, well, she runs a daycare. And I'm like, well, how many kids does she have? Because now I'm going to be nosy. And now I'm going to ask questions. And so when I was done with my list of questions, she got up, finished her session with my daughter. Because as she's talking to me, she's massaging my daughter's legs. She finishes the massage. She goes and she washes her hands. And when she felt what it was like to be questioned, interrogated, for someone else to be intruding on her privacy, she stopped asking me questions. But I'm like, what motivated her to ask me that line of questions as all of the other people observed? I felt like I was in a room full of monitoring spirits that day. Or it's almost like it's just crazy. People, I don't think about people in that way. Like, I'm so occupied with what I have going on physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, and spiritually, that I don't sit around like, let me find out what their husband does. Let me find out where they work. Let me find out how much money they make. Like, I had another experience where a friend of mine came to my daughter's house, and she walked in, and she started like walking around the apartment trying to see different things, but no one offered her a tour. And I thought that was strange, because I would never do that in somebody's house. And then she asked the question straight out, how much rent do you pay here? And I was like, that is weird. Like, why do you need to know? Are you going to pay it? What is that about? Why do people feel so entitled to know information about you? That is none of their business. If it's not a monitoring spirit, I don't know what it is.